Hey everybody, it's Melanie from Real Strong Mom. I'm hopping on today with Kathryn from the Real Strong Coaching Club. She has agreed to come on and chat with you ladies about her experience in the club. Welcome, Kathryn.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here with me this morning. I know you are so busy, so I appreciate you taking the time. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your family and where
Yeah,
you're from and that kind of thing?
yeah. So we I have four children at home. We also have another baby boy in between our kiddos that passed away during our pregnancy, but we always count him in our count. And if I don't, I get scolded and reminded that we didn't count him. So we have 5 children. We not recently, but a year ago, moved to Minnesota to our home. My husband and I, we've been married, oh my gosh, 9 years. Just think about that. 9 years. um, I am a teacher in Forest Lake. I work with families that have kiddos with disabilities, mostly under age 3, but some preschoolers as well. So that's kind of the quick snapshot of me.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so how long have you been with the coaching club, and do you remember how you found me?
Yeah. So, okay, I've been in the club 3 years, so it'll be going on 4 years in January. And I think it was your very first challenge you did,
Okay.
that I joined, and I was on the fence about joining, and I was like, that's free, I'll join. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
been a long
crazy.
time.
All
Yeah.
right, so think back to way back then. What were you looking for? What was happening
Um,
in your life? What were you looking for?
So, okay, so at that time, I had just had baby number 4, and right before him though was okay, Cheyenne is almost 8 this month. Jeremiah just turned 6. Then we have Nicholas, that's our little boy that died. And then we have Oliver. Oliver was 6 months old at the time. And I kind of physically had just been in like the worst place ever. Hold on, sunshine's coming out. um, and I after I hated myself. I hated my body. I didn't care like what happened to my body. I was just like, whatever. Like you failed me and you failed our family, and I just hated my body. Um, but then we had Oliver, and I was at my highest weight and just feeling yucky all the time. Like after Nicholas died, our lifestyle really didn't change, but my weight just like skyrocketed. And my doctor even said, she's like, it's stress. She's like, Kathryn, there's nothing else I can tell you but stress. That is why your body is doing this. And so I just needed something to take care of myself and to be in a better place, because I always had that like nagging in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm gonna start this or I'm gonna do this. When we found out I was pregnant with Oliver, I literally was just gonna start swimming in the morning. Like I was gonna get up early, go to the pool and come back, and then make the big 45-minute drive to work and school. And I was committed, and then they're like, nope, don't start anything new. And I'm like, seriously? Like here I am trying to take care of myself, and now I can't. So it's kind
Yeah.
of just at that point of like, I need to do something to take care of myself again, because this feels awful, and I can't live my life in this place. So
Yeah, absolutely. And how have things changed since you've joined
so
Real Strong Mom?
I thought we were eating pretty good as a family overall. But the Real Strong Mom plate has proved me wrong. um, we so that was one thing. Like our plates are totally different. The focus of our plates is different. Yet at the same time, one of the awesome things is we're still enjoying the same things we've always enjoyed. So our plates have changed. Realizing that taking care of myself helps me take care of my family that much better naturally. Like it's not a forced thing when I take care of myself that I can easily take care of my family. Mm-hmm. And I'm a happier mom and a happier wife and a happier friend. And all those things are that much better because I took care of myself. And that kind of, I think as a mom, we all struggle with that we think that's selfish to take care of ourselves when really it's not. You're literally just starting the first domino of taking care of everybody else better. So
absolutely. I know we have to take the lead. We're the boss. We're the boss. I had two things that you just kind of touched on that I was going to ask you, but you seriously just touched on them. I was going to ask you like your top favorite changes that you've made, kind of those big aha moments that things that you changed, but you just kind of touched on like, you know, the plate and taking care of you. But do you have any other moments that you were like, oh my gosh, like this is what I've been searching for. This is where I need to be.
Yeah. I remember at the beginning, I was really struggling with being the one responsible for my success, that I was like, well, my husband doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. And you kind of told me very politely and nicely and gently and lovingly to pull up my big girl panties and think about that. And so that was a big thing, like to take ownership of my success and or failure if I'm not committing myself. And that I have that control and I can't rely and look for someone else to give me that success. That if I want to see some changes, then I need to do that. I can't get cranky at my husband for doing something or not doing something that matches with what we're doing. And then, one, like we talk about this a lot, like the motivation piece of it, when you always share skill power versus willpower. I literally remember my mind just going I'm like, oh my gosh, like yes. That, like that little phrase that you use a lot, that was a very big, like, oh my goodness, like that totally makes sense. So
yes. I actually think of you when I say the word skill power now, because I remember how much that impacted you. So whenever I talk about it, you come to mind. And just for the ladies that are watching that aren't sure what we're talking about, like your motivation is going to lack. You are not always going to have motivation to get up and do things. But we, inside of our club, we're working on creating like habits and skills that get us up and moving whether we want to or not, because the motivation isn't going to be there. But Kathryn's built a habit around certain healthy habits, you know, certain healthy things that she wants to incorporate into her life, that these are just skills that she relies on versus the motivation to do them. Right. So it's a huge mindset
rolling
shift.
Out of bed
I also love what you said about you know, not being able to rely on like your husband or like outside sources to like lift you up and carry you through this, because I was just chatting with Alyssa yesterday and I said, you know, no one's going to care about your goals as much as you. If you roll over and your husband, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, your husband's going to snuggle up next to you. He's not going to be like, go to your workout. He's going to, you know, you have to, it's you. You are responsible for that. And no one is going to care about those goals and dreams and things as much as you. So all the mindset thing, all these things, there's so much mindset and just like easy, simple changes that we can make in creating this lifestyle, which is so cool.
And I think
you touched on this slightly too, but go ahead.
Like kind of going back to like the plate thing too, like following the plate doesn't mean that that I'm restricting myself on anything that I've always enjoyed. It just means tweaking it. And that was kind of a big shift. Like I've never done like a name brand diet thing. In high school, I saw a nutritionist for a little bit and we had to do points counting and I hated it. But that's the closest I've ever done like a diet thing. But just be like, learning how to find that happy balance of enjoying those everyday things, but then still taking care of your body the best way you can. So that was a big thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you touched on this a couple of times, but how has Real Strong Mom impacted your family?
So my kids, they notice things. I mean, we think they don't sometimes, but if I get out of a routine of working something like that, my daughter is usually the first one. She's like, Mom, you've been working out. Like, so they know that makes me feel good. And just now using that like positive body talk, and because of course, like, when we're moms, most of us have our nice squishy parts from the kids are like, Mom, what's this? And poking on it. And I'm like, just changing that mentality of being able to say to them, well, I grew you in there. Like, isn't that amazing? So that positive talk, and then them just like picking up on like when they want a snack, they're like, oh, Mom, I ate my protein already, so can I have this now? Or something like that. Or even my husband, like, now with being stuck with eating the meals I make and the food I make, if he sometimes eats some of those like old things that he could eat all the time when he was whatever, he'll like get a tummy ache and stuff, and he's like, oh man, like that did not agree with me. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you eat really good now.
Yeah, right? Oh, that's another thing that I remember. I don't remember if it was shortly after you started or a while after, but you
Yeah,
had a meal
it was.
and you got sick
Yeah,
and you were
so
like,
we had celebrated my son's birthday and had gone and got a Domino's pizza, and I ate just fine, like normal, didn't like stuff myself. And that night I had the worst stomach ache. I was like, what did I do? Like, that realization that you don't realize how much healthier you've changed your plate until you go back to like enjoy something old, and you're like, oh yeah, that needs that one piece next time, not three, or whatever it was, and whatever.
yes.
So yeah, I remember that too.
Oh my gosh, so funny, so funny. I always laugh when I see it happens to other girls in the club now too, and I'm like, oh yep, yep, me and Kathryn, we've been there. Okay, so something that we stress a lot in the club is making like these simple, doable changes in order to create this lifestyle, right? In order to make real food and real fitness work in your real life. Would you agree with that? Would you agree that the changes that you've made have been simple and doable and are things you can do long term?
Definitely. I mean, it takes a little bit just to like get in that mindset of thinking that, but I think the tools that we have to help us like visualize that and things like many of the like tools that you have in the club now, like the charts and things like that, I don't have to rely on them like I used to, because now it's a natural habit. But those help so much at the beginning just to get you in that mindset of thinking that and prepping that way. But totally doable. I mean, I can tell as soon as I veer off a little bit, or I'm not quite doing one of those things, like, oh man, like I'm missing my water, or oh yeah, did not write down the meal plan this week, so we are eating cereal every night, whatever. Like, don't like those little basic building blocks are so easy, and once you get in the habit of them, they just become second nature, and you can't function without them. So
Yes, absolutely. All right, last thing. What would you tell someone on the fence about joining the club?
I was on the fence when I first joined, and I was like, you know what? Like, so in the 3-week challenge, I like hadn't seen any progress in the first 2 weeks. That yes, I was feeling better because I was drinking more water, I think, and stuff. But but I think those like big physical things that we try to look for, like, did I lose any weight, or did I lose any, inches, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like a couple days right before the end of the challenge, I put on some of my like almost knee length boots, and I had wiggle room in my calf, and I was like, oh, like this is amazing. And I was thinking, you know what, I'm gonna try. And in this group that will probably help me be successful, because I've always felt like I hit a plateau, and then I never knew where to go from there. I never never knew how to challenge myself next after I committed like to this one regimen or whatever. And then I didn't know where to go. So like I love how there's always a new challenge for us that I give a try if you're gonna get by just making and committing to those small little building blocks of our club.
Absolutely.
Of the club. So
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you sharing with the ladies. I appreciate you being in our community. You are a wonderful member of our group. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, for not mine.
I'm going to go. You should go. There we go. I'm going to click that off. All right, ladies, thank you, Kathryn, for joining us. I absolutely love Kathryn's perspective on the Real Strong Coaching Club. She is a busy mom, and she is making this all work within her lifestyle, and it's not making her life any harder. If anything, it's making her life so much easier. Like she said, she's teaching her daughter a healthy relationship with food. She's showing her what it's like to show up for her. She's tweaking, the plate that her husband is using, that her kids are using. And it's not that they're not eating the foods that they love. It's like they just slightly tweaking their plate. And I love how she said, we thought we were eating good, because I think a lot of us, and I'm sure she was, but just adding in a few more vegetables, making sure you're getting enough protein. All these things are little tiny tweaks that we can make that make a huge difference in our lifestyle, in losing weight, in maintaining our weight. All of these things are so important, and just are going to make a huge difference in you quitting dieting and creating a lifestyle that you can maintain long term. So thank you so much, Kathryn. Oh, I enjoy her so much. She's such a great member of our community. If you have any questions for her, drop them down in the comments. If you are interested in joining Kathryn and myself inside the coaching community, we would love to teach you about the Real Strong Plate and to teach you about how to create a lifestyle around food and fitness that fits in your real life, right? No matter how many kids you have, no matter how busy of a mom you are, this fits, right? And I think it's so much more, there's so much more to it than we even touched on here, because like I said, Kathryn's an amazing member of our community. We have a community, we have support, we have each other, and the ladies come in and we're like family to one another, and we're there to support each other through pregnancies and through, moving. Kathryn moved state to state, and just the season and COVID and all of those things, like having that support and having something somewhere to go that you can call home, that is like your place for food and fitness and real life stuff, is really special too. So if you guys have any questions for me or Kathryn, drop them down below. Any questions at all, click on the link to check out the club for yourself. All right, take care. Have a good weekend. Bye, you guys.